Opium production in Afghanistan is on the rise. In 2001, the country produced a few hundred kilograms. Today, that number has grown to 8 metric tons. There's also a mixed view on whether the Afghan opium market is funding the Taliban, to what degree, and I feel it is, and that this clearly needs to be stopped. Last December, the United States Department of Defense changed its policy to enable the United States Armed Forces to directly support the counter-narcotics missions conducted by the DEA and their Afghan counterparts. The shift in Defense Department policy has led to a number of successful operations. In May of this year, DEA's Foreign Deployed Advisory and Support Team, known by the acronym FAST, the Afghan National Interdiction Unit, the Afghan National Army, and a United States Special Forces team seized 18,164 kilograms of opium, 200 kilograms of heroin, 1,000 kilograms of hashish, 72,000 kilograms of poppy seed, chemicals used to make drugs, and a significant cache of weapons, including 44 blocks of Iranian C4, improvised explosive devices, mortar rounds, and other weapons used to attack coalition forces. Mr. Braun, why don't we begin with you?
I want to step out to the restroom.
Madam Chairman, Co-Chairman Grassley, Senator Whitehouse, others gathered here today, my esteemed colleagues, our co-panelists, thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. Senator, you were talking about, or in your opening comments, you mentioned a major operation back in May that the DEA, our Afghan counter-narcotics police, and our military forces undertook in Afghanistan. Let me bring you up to date just a little bit with a more recent example. Just last week, those same organizations raided a heroin lab in southern Afghanistan, and seized at the lab was 1.8 metric tons of heroin and morphine, and that's a big haul in anyone's book. You have been around these hallowed halls for quite some time now. You know narcotics trafficking very, very well, and you understand that is a big haul. What's more troubling about that particular operation, though, was the laboratory was not simply being guarded by the Taliban, it was being operated by the Taliban. My point being is I believe that the Taliban is rapidly evolving into what I refer to as a truly hybrid terrorist organization. They're one part designated terrorist organization, but they are becoming a global drug trafficking powerhouse. What's most amazing about that particular operation also, Senator, is that right along with the drugs, there were IEDs, IED bomb-making materials. There was Taliban propaganda, including training manuals and the like. And this is a scenario that the DEA, our special forces, and our brave Afghan counterparts have seen on numerous occasions over the past couple years since our military has become more heavily involved in supporting law enforcement in taking the fight to the traffickers and the Taliban. What we're seeing, I'm convinced, is not only an unmistakable but an unequivocal convergence of drugs and terrorism.
Where exactly was the lab?
It was in southern Afghanistan.
In which province? Kandahar?
Ma'am, I believe it was in Kandahar province, I believe. And in fact, I received a phone call from one of my former colleagues or partners at DEA. There was another lab hit in southern Afghanistan within the past 48 hours. 10 Taliban were killed. This was a raid conducted by U.S. Special Forces and DEA in support of the Afghan counter-narcotics police and Afghan Army commandos. Another recent example, we're seeing this over and over and over again. Again, these folks aren't just providing security anymore, they're now involved in wholesale production.